Hello and howdy there. Here to talk about my favorite family, The Simpsons. This is the Simpsons movie. I love The Simpsons. I really have no idea how to separate The Simpsons from my existence. So I watch this because I don't really get to watch The Simpsons too much anymore. I mean, I'm trying to learn more about watching television on the internet. I've moved to a home that does not have cable, so I also work on Sundays, and so I don't really get to watch The Simpsons anymore. Again, I'm trying to catch up online and learning all about that stuff, but basically I was missing The Simpsons. I was missing them, and I was like, well, I have the first 11 seasons on disc, but I don't know. I just wanted something I could, I feel like if I watch an episode of The Simpsons, I need to commit to a season. I need to watch a season of The Simpsons. So I didn't want to commit to a season that night, so I just threw in the film. I love the film. I like it. I have no problems giving it a 9, maybe an 8, just for... if I take out my devotion, maybe I could give it an 8 just because, I don't know, maybe it wraps up a little bit too conveniently. Again, we are talking about a cartoon, ideally targeted to, youth. So talking about how a cartoon wraps up nicely is kind of ridiculous. But, I just love The Simpsons. I saw this film 3 times in the theater. I've watched it a handful of times since. I would say that it had to be under 10. I've probably seen this film under 10 times, but maybe around 7 or 8 is what this viewing was. I'll say 7th or 8th viewing. It's hilarious. It's never been not funny. It just continues to be funnier. It perfectly captures, the voice of The Simpsons. A film tends to be a watered down or expanded, version of the television show that it's based on just for mass audiences, But The Simpsons has become, and this film was, I believe, 2007. The Simpsons have been on television one way or another since 1987. So this came out 20 years after their debut on the Tracy Ullman Show. And I would argue that they have already become, a part of the cultural lexicon, and pretty much a large force even in our vocabulary. So I think it's hard to separate The Simpsons from current American pop culture, perhaps even more so in 2007. So it's kind of, it didn't have to play by the same rules that another, film based on a TV show would. It didn't have to reintroduce everyone. It didn't, even though it does, and it does perfectly capture everyone's attitude and personality, it didn't, it doesn't really have to. It pretty much says, hey, we're The Simpsons, and, this is just an extended version of our half-hour program. And that's, kind of what it is. It's a 90-minute Simpsons episode. Usually The Simpsons is, 22 minutes. Here it's extended by 3, 3 times that, or maybe even more. And I just think it holds together well. That what makes The Simpsons is certainly here. It's hilarious. It's subversive. It's very intelligent. The animation is gorgeous. I just don't know what to say about it. It's The Simpsons. It's The Simpsons. and it just makes me feel happy. It just makes me comfortable, safe. Movies about The Simpsons. Homer creates a natural disaster, which forces the government to put a dome over Springfield, trapping them from the world. Everyone wants to kill Homer for this, damnation. The Simpsons manage to escape and run. They then face family drama, family strife, and then, the family must save Springfield while Homer must save his family. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So, it just had that old school Simpsons feel to it. I think a lot of complaints that I remember, in the aftermath of the film is that the satellite characters did not get as much time in the spotlight. That the film was about the family. The show has always been about the family and the family dynamic, and the satellite characters are just that. When they do episodes focusing on a satellite character, then, that's an episode that's not as good as the others. I think that this, again, captures that old school feel, that it focuses on the family. The satellite characters take a back seat because back in the day, the show was about the family, and the townspeople had yet to be such a huge, enormous part of The Simpsons that they are now. And even I'll admit that, I wish I had seen some more, I'd wish there had been more Mr. Burns, I'd wish there had just been more of, our favorite characters who we've come to love over all these years. But instead it focuses on telling a story that affects the family, and that it's about the family, and gives that family, the chance to shine. The writers of this film are basically the founding fathers of The Simpsons, with the exception of one, Sam Simon. Even though he's credited again as here being, I was wondering, he'll always be a developer, a creator of The Simpsons. Here I was looking to see if he got in on the producing game here, which I do not see at all. There must be some bad blood between Sam Simon and the rest of everyone else. Sam Simon left after season 5, saying that The Simpsons was becoming something that he could not be a part of. And he parted ways. Now, Simpsons purists believe that after he departed, after season 5, that, that's the end of The Simpsons. Once David Simon leaves, that's it. That he was primarily responsible for those genius level, the levels of genius in those first 5 seasons. I think that, Sam Simon gets a bulk of that credit. Again, from people who, take The Simpsons way too seriously. I continue to love it and to watch it to this day. But Sam Simon did leave the show, and again is not involved in this. But the rest of, the founding fathers are. The screenplay is written by James L. Brooks, Matt Groening, Al Jean, Ian Maxtone Graham, George Meyer, David Merkin, Mike Reese, Mike Scully, Matt Selman, John Schwartzwelder, and John Vitti. Those names are responsible for the iconic Simpsons episodes. They are The Simpsons. And the fact that, this is like a dream team coming to write, a 90-minute episode. And I just wish that that's what they do. In a way, I thought the film kind of signaled the end of the television series. And I thought as long as you get this group of people in a room together that you're going to come out with a fantastic product. That I won't miss The Simpsons on television. Instead, come out with a movie every other year. Come out with the Simpsons movie every other summer and have it be by these guys. And don't worry about hiring new talent to keep the show going. Give us these guys who are responsible for the voice of The Simpsons and who are responsible for redefining comedy, and have them churn out a Simpsons movie every other year and pay them whatever they want, of course. Directed by David Silverman, who's also directed a lot, bulk of the series. Also produced by James L. Brooks, Matt Groening, Al Jean, Mike Scully, and Richard Sakai. Again, all Simpsons heavyweights, all founding fathers. Again, the film was handled with love and with care, and probably with a great deal of nervousness that people would not, absolutely love the film. Which, again, I think when you're dealing with something like The Simpsons, there's that risk of resting on your laurels and being able to churn out an ABC paint-by-number plot for The Simpsons and just have people go see it, spend money because it's The Simpsons, and maybe, not being fully satisfied. There's that danger there. I think it was just totally avoided here. They really hit it out of the park, and I wished that they could get these guys in a room together. I just wish that they would have no other jobs, that all they do is write Simpsons episodes, and that, it would still be what it was in season 4, forever, forever. I don't know what else to say. I hadn't talked about the acting. Again, you've got your standards here. Dan Castellaneta, Julie Kavner, Nancy Cartwright, Yeardley Smith, Hank Azaria, Harry Shearer, and Albert Brooks, A. Brooks, as Russ Cargill. All the acting is great. The voice acting is unparalleled. It's the best voice cast on television or, in animation. And, it's just, it's hilarious. It's just, everything about The Simpsons is hilarious. Hilarious acting, hilarious writing, hilarious animation. It's just hilarious. And I love it. Again, it's very light. I didn't find myself thinking too much about it. It doesn't have it's not very impactful, I guess I could say. It doesn't, it lingers a little bit, but it doesn't just knock you out. It doesn't knock you out, but it definitely charms you, woos you. I just, again, I don't really know what else to say about it. It just is The Simpsons, and I love The Simpsons, and so, of course, I'm going to watch The Simpsons movie to, make myself feel happy. So, I think that's pretty much all I got to say about it. I definitely recommend it. On the Blu-ray, it looks fantastic, by the way. And, yeah, okay. Very quotable, but The Simpsons is very quotable, and it's, again, very watchable. It ages very well. The Simpsons ages well. Again, I've seen the film several times, and it's still absolutely hilarious. I forget some things are going to happen, and I'm rewarded, again, by forgetting those things happen, and notice new things, and again, it's kind of pretty much everything you'd want out of a, densely layered comedy. And again, represents is a true, representation of over 20 years of art, and really is a great distillation of the voice and the meaning the power behind The Simpsons. So I just think it's a perfect example of The Simpsons. So, what could be better? So there you go. That's The Simpsons Movie, and I give it a solid 9. Thanks much.